University Challenge. Asking the questions, Jeremy Paxman.
Hello, it was Oscar Wilde who remarked that in England, at any rate, education produces no effect whatsoever. There's a place in the second round for whichever of tonight's teams can prove him wrong. Corpus Christi College, Oxford, is one of the university's smaller colleges with around 350 students. It was founded in 1517 to train monks, but rapidly became a centre for humanist study, and today it still emphasises the teaching of Latin, Greek and ancient history. Alumni include the founder of the Guardian newspaper, C.P. Scott, the poet and novelist Vikram Seth, and the Chuckle brothers of New Labour, Ed and David Miliband, both of whom read PPE here. Corpus Christi was series champions in 2005. Tonight's team, with an average age of 21, are no doubt hoping to repeat that victory. Let's meet them.
Hello, I'm Sam Kay from Frimley in Surrey, and I'm studying chemistry.
I'm Gail Trimble from Walton-on-Thames, also in Surrey, and I'm doing a DPhil in Latin literature.
And their captain.
Hello, I'm Mark Hamid. I'm from Pennycook near Edinburgh, and I'm studying classical archaeology and ancient history.
I'm James Marsden from Farndon in Cheshire. I'm studying ancient and modern history.
Durham University lays claim to being England's third oldest after Oxford and Cambridge, although those parts of the buildings which date back to 1072 are the oldest university buildings in use anywhere in the world. It was founded in 1832 to provide, quote, a sound yet not expensive academical education for the north of England, and part of keeping costs down was to rely upon some students to bring their own servants with them. Nowadays, they just bring their own sandwiches. Alumni include Sir Harold Evans, the Olympic medalist Jonathan Edwards, and the broadcaster Jeremy Vine. A little younger than their opponents, with an average age of 19, and with 2 previous championships for Durham behind them. Let's meet them.
I'm Tom Woods, I'm from Liverpool, and I'm reading engineering.
Hi, I'm Greg Carter, I'm from Sir Hedingham, and I'm reading psychology.
And their captain.
Hello, I'm Daniel Perks, I'm from Stockport in Cheshire, and I'm reading chemistry.
Hi, I'm Andrew Mason from Epsom in Surrey, and I'm reading French and German.
OK, the rules are the same as ever. 10 points for starter questions, which are solo efforts answered on the buzzer. Bonuses are team efforts, they're worth 15. There's a 5-point penalty if you interrupt a starter question incorrectly. Fingers on the buzzers, here's your first starter for 10. What 8-letter word in general usage means an opening move in negotiations, or an offer or proposal that indicates readiness? In music, it signifies an instrumental prelude to an opera, or a one-movement composition.
Corpus Christi Marsden.
Overture.
Correct. Your bonuses, Corpus Christi, are on things past. The phrase Remembrance of Things Past, an English title given to Marcel Proust's novel sequence, is taken from a sonnet by which writer?
Yeah.
We'll try William Shakespeare.
Good guess, you're right. Time present and time past are both perhaps present in time future and time future contained in time past. Which poet wrote those lines in a work of 1935?
Eliot, yes.
T.S. Eliot.
Correct. Who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past. Words from which 1949 novel?
1984.
Correct. 10 points for this starter question. Invented by the cutler Carl Elsener for the company he renamed Victorinox in 1921, which product originally marketed...
Corpus Christi Hamid.
The Swiss Army knife.
Correct. Your bonuses, Corpus Christi, are on diets. Which low-carbohydrate, low-calorie diet was published in 1979 by Dr. Herman Tarnauer, who named it after the area of New York where he practiced? The diet soared in popularity when Dr. Tarnauer was murdered by his lover a year later.
Do you actually know? Manhattan.
The Manhattan diet?
No, it's the Scarsdale diet. Who popularised the F-plan diet that advised consumption of high-fibre foods?
Gillian, whose name I can't remember.
Rosemary Conley.
No, it's Audrey Ayton. And finally, the GI diet is based on a ranking system for foods devised in the early 1980s by Dr. David Jenkins of the University of Toronto. For what do the letters GI stand?
Glycemic index.
Glycemic index is right. 10 points for this. After feudal lords who extorted tolls from travellers, what two-word term is sometimes used for those American magnates of the late 19th century who became wealthy?
Corpus Christi Marsden.
Robber barons.
Correct. Your bonuses, Corpus Christi, are on cartoon captions. A cartoon in which a prosecuting counsel produces a kangaroo and says to a witness, "Perhaps this will refresh your memory," is the work of which American humorist particularly associated with the New Yorker magazine?
No.
I'm afraid we don't know.
That was James Thurber. Born 1872, which English illustrator and cartoonist became particularly well known for his drawings of overly elaborate and unlikely machines, such as a chair designed to remove warts and a device for resuscitating stale scones?
Heath Robinson.
Correct. What three words typically begin the captions of a series of cartoons by H.M. Bateman, which first appeared in 1912 and depict an extreme reaction to social gaffes?
The Man Who.
The Man Who is right. 10 points for this. Which 19th century German physicist gives his name to the SI-derived unit that has dimensions of time to the -1 and was the first person to produce and detect radio...
Durham Perks.
Hertz.
Hertz is right. OK, you're off the mark. Your bonuses are on a scientific instrument, Durham. What instrument is designed to produce an acceleration greater than that of the Earth's gravitational field in order to separate cellular components of different size, shape or density?
Centrifuge.
Correct. What five-letter term denotes the motor-driven component of a centrifuge in which samples are placed in tubes for separation?
No, sorry, we
That's
don't
the
know.
rotor. And finally, for a possible 5, a rotor spinning at a speed in excess of 30,000 revolutions per minute, generating centrifugal fields 600,000 times greater than the Earth's gravitational field, would be found in which type of centrifuge?
Cyclodrome.
No, it's in an ultracentrifuge. We're going to take our first picture round now. For your picture starter, you're going to see a diagram depicting the components of a popular drink. 10 points if you can give me its specific name and country of origin.
Corpus Christi, Trimble.
Cappuccino, Italy.
Cappuccino and Italy is correct, yes. Bonuses, 3 more diagrams depicting popular Italian ways of serving coffee as identified by the British Coffee Association. 5 points for each. If you can give me the name of the drink, firstly.
Americano.
Americano.
Correct. Secondly.
Macchiato.
Yeah, try that.
A proper macchiato.
It is a macchiato. And finally.
That's the latte.
That's a latte.
Yeah, we see where you spend your time. Right, 10 points for this. Described in a Sotheby's press release as the first rung on the ladder to freedom and as a talisman of liberty, a copy of which historical document was sold in 2000...
Corpus Christi, Trimble.
Magna Carta.
Magna Carta is right. Your bonuses are on hybrid fruits. Firstly, for 5. A soft fruit produced by crossing a blackberry and a raspberry has what name after that of the longest river in Scotland, near to which it was introduced in the 1970s?
Oh,
Tayberry.
Tayberry.
Correct. Which fruit, a cross between a raspberry, blackberry and loganberry, was named in the 1930s after the American horticulturalist who developed it?
Dewberry.
Dewberry.
No, it's a boysenberry. A tangelo is the result of crossing a tangerine with which other citrus fruit?
Pomelo.
Pomelo.
No, it's a grapefruit. 10 points for this. The title of a book by Louise Cap Howe. What term of American origin denotes a broad socio-economic group, predominantly women, employed mainly in the service industries, clerical work and retail sales?
Durham Perks.
Secretaries.
No. Corpus Christi?
Corpus Christi, Hammett.
Desperate housewife.
I like it, but it's not right. It's pink-collar workers. 10 points for this. Through an error in the use of sat-nav, the site of a battle of 1066 and a Premier League football ground were confused with...
Corpus Christi, Hammett.
Stamford Bridge.
Stamford Bridge is right. Your bonuses now are on World War II. In each case, give the city that gives its name to the following conference. Firstly, for 5, a meeting of Churchill and Roosevelt in January 1943, which endorsed the policy of unconditional surrender of the Axis powers.
It's not Tehran, but I can't think of anything else.
Tehran.
No, it's Casablanca. A meeting of Churchill, Roosevelt and Stalin in late 1943 that laid plans for the opening of the Second Front in coordination with Soviet offensives against the Nazis?
I think that might be Tehran.
We think that's Tehran.
That was Tehran. And finally, a meeting of Churchill, Roosevelt and Stalin in February 1945 that acquiesced in post-war Soviet influence over much of Eastern Europe?
Yeah, Yalta.
Correct. 10 points for this. An example being the tubifex worm found in stagnant and oxygen-depleted water, which is unfit to drink. What two-word general term refers to those organisms whose presence serves as a measurement of the environmental condition of a given locale?
Corpus Christi Hammett.
Indicator species?
Correct. Your bonuses now are on pairs of words whose spellings are identical, but for the letters GH. For example, fit and fight. In each case, give the two words that correspond to the definition. Firstly, an adverb indicating motion away from a place and an auxiliary verb expressing rightness, duty, advisability or strong probability.
Out and ought.
Out and ought.
Correct. Secondly, a second-person singular personal pronoun used in the King James Bible and formerly associated with South Yorkshire, and a conjunction that introduces adverbial clauses of concession.
Thou and thou.
Thou and thou.
Correct. Finally, the egg of a headlouse and the period between sunset and sunrise.
Knit and night.
Knit and night.
Knit and night is correct. Another starter question. Fingers on the buzzers, Durham. The artist Auguste Renoir dismissed as a big gendarme, which statue, at the time more usually regarded as the epitome of female beauty, and discovered in 1820 on the...
Durham Woods.
Venus de Milo.
The Venus de Milo is correct. Yes, your bonuses now, Durham, are on chemistry. Which 19th century Scottish scientist gave his name to the law stating that the diffusion rate of a gas is inversely proportional to the square root of its density, a principle used in separating isotopes by the diffusion method?
Gay-Lussac.
No, it was Thomas Graham. Thomas Graham discovered the properties of which substances, their names derived in part from the Greek for glue, and composed of fine particles that are dispersed throughout a second substance?
Solvents.
No, they're colloids. Colloids include gels, sols, and which other type of substance composed of minute droplets of one liquid dispersed in another?
Emulsions.
Emulsion is correct, yes. Right, we're going to take a music round now. Your music starter is an excerpt from a well-known opera. All you have to do for 10 points is to identify the composer.
Durham Mason.
Verdi.
Verdi is right. It's the drinking song from La Traviata. 3 more extracts from operas for your bonuses, composed by Verdi in each case. I would like the title of the opera. Firstly...
Rigoletto.
Rigoletto is right. Secondly, this one.
Nabucco.
Nabucco is correct, the chorus of the Hebrew slaves. And finally...
Aida.
Aida is right. Insultingly easy for you. Right, 10 points for this. Which Russian novelist, poet and playwright received the attention of the scientific community when, on his death in 1883, he was discovered to have a brain weighing in excess of 2,000 grams, believed at the time to be the heaviest ever recorded?
Corpus Christi Marston.
Leo Tolstoy.
No, he died in 1910. You want to buzz from Durham?
Durham Woods.
Google.
No, it's Turgenev. 10 points for this. According to the Financial Press, what is defined as 2 successive quarters of negative growth in gross domestic...
Durham Woods.
Recession.
Recession is right. Your bonuses are on a historian, Durham. Quote, human beings are not efficiently designed for a capitalist system of production. Which historian wrote these words in the 1994 work, The Age of Extremes?
No, we don't know, sorry.
That's Eric Hobsbawm. What 3 words does Hobsbawm use to describe the time span of the Age of Extremes, namely the years 1914 to 1991?
No, sorry, pass.
He calls it the short 20th century. And finally, give the single word descriptive of a broad political philosophy that completes this observation by Hobsbawm. The paradox of communism in power was that it was what?
Fascist.
No, conservative. 10 points for this. And gentlemen in England now abed shall think themselves at...
Corpus Christi Trimble.
Henry V.
Henry V is right, yes, the speech on the eve of Agincourt. Your bonuses, Corpus Christi, are on a Roman legend. According to Livy's History of Rome, Romulus used the Consualia, the games in honour of equestrian Neptune, to gain possession of what or whom?
The Sabine women.
The Sabine women.
Correct. In the 1630s, which French artist executed two versions of the legend of the Sabine women, now in the Louvre and the Metropolitan Museum of Art?
Poussin? Poussin?
Poussin?
Correct. An adaptation of the legend of the Sabine women. Stephen Vincent Bennett's short story, The Sobbin' Women, was the basis for which 1954 Oscar-winning Hollywood musical?
Yeah, try it.
Seven Brides for Seven Brothers?
Correct. Right, 10 points for this starter question. In botany, the term etiolated describes the appearance of a plant that has developed without or been deprived of what?
Corpus Christi Trimble.
Light.
Correct. Your bonuses are on mammalian cells, Corpus Christi. What name is given to the tissues with cells derived from endoderm or exoderm, arranged in single or multicellular layers, covering internal and external surfaces of the body?
Skin.
Yeah.
Skin?
No, it's epithelia. The skin it contains other tissues. What name meaning cup is given to some mucus-secreting cells found in epithelial tissues such as those lining the digestive system?
Calyx.
Villi
Oh, that doesn't mean cup, though. Yeah, try calyx.
Calyx?
No, they're goblet cells. And finally, what name is given to epithelium containing many goblet cells?
We have no idea.
It's mucosa or mucous membrane. 10 points for this. Which word, whose etymology is uncertain, spread from Munich in the 1860s and 70s, where it indicated cheap artistic works, and has come to denote a broad field of bad, trashy and phony art?
Corpus Christi Trimble.
Ersatz?
No, anyone want to buzz from Durham? Take a guess, one of you.
Durham Woods.
Bric-a-brac.
No, it's kitsch. 10 points for this. The unfinished George Cukor film, Something's Got to Give, intended as a remake of My Favourite Wife, was the last to have featured in its cast which American actress who died in...
Corpus Christi K.
Marilyn Monroe.
Correct. Your bonuses are on ski resorts, Corpus Christi. Including the resort of Courchevel, the ski region known as the Trois-Vallées is located in which French département, named after a former duchy annexed by France in 1860?
Haute-Savoie?
Yeah.
Haute-Savoie?
No, it's Savoy. The venue for the annual Vitrance Trophy in the World Cup men's slalom races, Kranjska Gora, is in which European country?
Austria, Croatia or something.
Anything like that to take a guess.
Actually, Switzerland, maybe. Switzerland.
No, it's Slovenia. The Italian ski resort of Cortina is situated in which range of the Alps? Come on, let's have an answer.
The Julian Alps?
No, it's the Dolomites. 10 points for this. Susan Jocelyn Bell, a research student in astrophysics at Cambridge University, is credited with the first discovery in 1967 of...
Durham Woods.
Pulsars.
Correct. Your bonuses now are on a film director, Durham. The Interpreter, The Firm, Random Hearts and Tootsie are among the films of which American director who died in May 2008? Let's have an answer, lads. Come on.
No, sorry, we
It's
can't.
Sidney Pollack. Based on a 1935 novel of the same name, which Sidney Pollack film of 1969 stars Jane Fonda and Michael Sarrazin attempting to win a Depression-era marathon dance?
The Longest Waltz.
No, they shoot horses, don't they, was what it was called. Mozart's Clarinet Concerto in A features prominently in which Sidney Pollack film of 1985 starring Meryl Streep and Robert Redford?
Out of Africa.
Correct. Right, we're going to take our second picture round now. For your picture starter, you're going to see a photograph of a building. 10 points if you can identify the institution housed there and the city in which it can be found.
Corpus Christi, Marsden.
The European Parliament, Strasbourg.
Well done, yes. Your bonus is 3 more photographs of parliamentary buildings, all of which house the national assemblies of member states of the European Union. 5 points if you can name the country in which they are located. Firstly, for 5.
So it looks a bit Greek, but I don't think it is, but we can't think of a better idea. It's not Italy. It's not Italy.
What do we think?
Greece.
We'll try Greece.
You're right. Secondly,
That's more... Oh, OK, Ireland.
Ireland?
no, it's Portugal. And finally,
That's the Reichstag. That's the Reichstag, and it's in Germany.
correct. 10 points for this. Goblin Market and Other Poems in 1862.
Corpus Christi, Trimble.
Christina Rossetti.
Well done. Corpus Christi, your bonuses are on dragons. Calasin, who transports Jed and Aaron to Roke, is the oldest dragon in works by Ursula Le Guin, set in which world?
Let's see, yeah.
Earthsea.
Correct. In Tolkien's The Silmarillion, which dragon is described as the first of Uruk-loki, the fire drakes of the north?
Glaurung, I believe.
Nominate Trimble.
Glaurung.
Yep, that's correct. In Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, what is the name of the Norwegian ridgeback dragon that Hagrid illegally breeds?
Norbert.
Correct. Right, 10 points for this starter question. Headed by Charles Bingham, Lord Mersey of Toxteth, the Mersey Inquiry was a formal investigation ordered by the British government into what incident of April the 15th, 1912?
Durham Woods.
I'm
The
sorry
general
if you...
strike.
Sorry, if you buzz, you must answer. Corpus Christi.
Corpus Christi, Hammond.
Is it the sinking of the Titanic?
It was indeed, yes. Your bonuses are on the solar system, Corpus Christi. In each case, name the body in the solar system in which the following physical features are found. Firstly, for 5 points, the plane known as the Argaea Planitia.
I don't know which planet or anything, so try Mars.
We'll try Mars.
Correct. Second, the long, narrow depression known as Hadley's Rill.
Sounds like something to do with rings.
It's one of the German moons.
Come on, let's have an
We'll
answer.
try Io.
No, it's the moon. Finally, the 11,000-metre massif known as Maxwell Montes.
We'll go for Venus.
That is on Venus. 4.5 minutes to go. 10 points for this. In physics, in terms of Gibbs phase rule, a gas on its own has how many degrees of freedom?
Durham Perks.
3.
No, you want to buzz from Corpus Christi?
Corpus Christi, K.
2.
2 is correct. Your bonuses are on Russia. Which linguistic family that includes the Finno-Ugric and the Samoyedic language groups takes its name from a Russian mountain range?
OK, yeah.
Uralic.
Correct. Which Russian archipelago, whose name means new land, constitutes a continuation of the Ural Mountains?
OK.
Novoya Zemlya.
Correct. Into which sea does the Ural River discharge?
So I thought it went... OK.
The White Sea.
No, it's the Caspian Sea. 3.5 minutes to go. 10 points for this. Douglas Hurd, Malcolm Rifkin, Robin Cook and Jack Straw.
Durham Woods.
Foreign Secretary.
That is correct, yes. Your set of bonuses now are on disease. What is the specific cause of any disease in humans or animals that is called a mycosis?
Incomplete cell division.
No, it's fungus. Which fungus that develops on ryegrass was the cause of a disease that was widespread in the Middle Ages and was also known as St. Anthony's fire?
Ergot.
Correct. Which acid derived from ergot is the active principle in the psychedelic drug LSD?
Nominate Woods.
Lithocyde domainic acid.
No, it's lysergic acid. 10 points for this. Meaning in chains, what two Latin words are added to the name of the Chapel Royal of St...
Corpus Christi Hammett.
Ad vincula.
Ad vincula is correct. Your bonuses, Corpus Christi, are on physics. In an electrical circuit, what is the name of the force driving the current against the resistance in the circuit?
Voltage.
Voltage.
Yes, the electromotive force. Which physical property in Poiseuille's formula is equivalent to the resistance in an electrical circuit?
I'm not sure what you... No, don't know.
We've no idea.
It's viscosity. From Stokes' law, what term denotes the steady-state velocity attained by an object moving in a fluid of constant viscosity under a constant centrifugal force?
Final velocity.
The final velocity?
It's terminal velocity, 1.5 minutes ago, 10 points for this, indicating how many eighths of the sky are obscured at any given time. The units used in meteorology to measure cloud cover...
Corpus Christi Trimble.
Octas.
Octas is right. Your bonuses are on like-sounding place names. In each case, I want the European country in which the following regions are located. Firstly, for 5 points, Wallachia.
Romania.
Correct. Second, Vallis, also known as Valais.
Switzerland.
Yes. Yeah. Switzerland.
Correct. And finally, Wallonia.
Oh, that's in Belgium. Belgium.
Correct. 10 points for this starter question. By what name was the Roman Emperor Gaius Caesar usually known?
Corpus Christi Trimble.
Caligula.
Caligula is right. Your bonuses are on communications, Corpus Christi. Which Irish broadcasting company has taken its title from the original name of the legendary hero Cuchulainn?
I don't know.
Let's have an answer.
RTE.
No, that's Radio Fichera, and it's Setanta. Which electronic protocol takes its name from the nickname of Harold I, credited with uniting Denmark in the 10th century?
Bluetooth.
Correct. Which communications company is named after an ancient settlement in Sardinia? Come on.
No idea.
Let's have it.
With Motorola.
Oh, yes, that's really like there's Tiscali. 10 points for this, and at the gong, Durham have 95, Corpus Christi have 330. Well, I'm sorry, we're going to have to say goodbye to you, Durham. You never really got a chance to get going, but thank you for taking part anyway. Corpus Christi, 330. It was a very, very impressive performance, and who'd have thought that a classical education could be so incredibly useful to you? Well, I hope you can join us next time, but until then, it's goodbye from Durham University.
Goodbye.
It's goodbye from Corpus Christi College, Oxford.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.
Tomorrow night at 8, 4 contestants in the chair answering questions on their specialist subjects and sporting general knowledge in Des Lynam's Sport Mastermind. Coming up, quick and simple street food, cooked in a flash in Chinese food made easy. That's next on BBC Two.